Fantastic. Okay. Yesterday, what was yesterday? Yesterday was Shivaratri, right? Yesterday was Shivaratri. And today's Sunday. It's the day after Shivaratri. But because the Sunday feast came on Sunday instead of yesterday, we're going to speak about Lord Shiva in honor of Lord Shiva, Shiva's Shivaratri from yesterday. And Friday, the day before Shivaratri, we spoke about the relationship or the interactions between Lord Shiva and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the interactions between Lord Shiva and Krishna, and continuing in that theme, the interactions between Lord Shiva and Lord Ramachandra. And there's so much to say, and we have to keep within our time frame. So, one of the important things to know about Lord Shiva, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, is Lord Shiva is the best of all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Now, he has some competitors, like the gopis. And they're the dearmost to Krishna. They're the dearmost to, amongst the gopis, Srimati Radharani. But so rather than doing a competition between supremacies, Bhagavatam specifically states, amongst those who are his devotees, Lord Shiva is the best. And there's others that are also best. And his position, some of you may know his position in relation to the source of everything, described in Sri Brahma Samhita, is he's like Krishna but not like Krishna in the following manner. The verse in Sri Brahma Samhita says, just like milk that's touched by tamarind or a souring agent becomes transformed. Ladies, when you're boiling milk and you put some lemon or souring agent, what happens to the milk? It curdles, right? So, Lord Shiva is compared like that to curdled milk to milk. So curdled milk is nothing but a milk product. Dahi is nothing but milk that's transformed into dahi. But once it's transformed into dahi, you can't transform it back to milk. That's it. Similarly, Sri Brahma Samhita makes that comparison, that Lord Shiva is unto Govinda, who's Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara. Some of you know the verse. Say with me if you know the verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So as Govinda is the Karana Karanam, one of the causes from the original cause of all causes, one of the causes is Lord Shiva. He's from the original source of everything, as everything is from the original source. He's not the original source, but he has a very special relationship in that he's like dahi unto milk, or he's transformation of that original source of everything. And he has a certain function. He has multiple functions, and it's very complex, and that's not the topic for this evening. It would probably take about 6 hours to cover that topic. It's a very complex topic. But we're just going to be discussing on this topic, interactions between Lord Shiva and Lord Ramachandra. And a very natural source to look to in understanding the interactions between the two is Valmiki Ramayana. As you see from this painting drawn from Valmiki Ramayana, when Sita had to enter into fire, there's Rama and Lakshmana on either side, and there's the Devas offering flowers to Sita as she's proving her purity. Here's a passage from Valmiki Ramayana from the Yuddha Kanda. After Mother Sita successfully passed the trial by fire, Lord Shiva appeared in front of Lord Rama and said, "Lotus-eyed, great-armed, broad-chested, scorcher of your foes, foremost of weapon-bearers, thank heavens you have accomplished this feat," that was finishing Ravana. "You have dispelled in battle the vast and terrible darkness in the form of the fear of Ravana that had engulfed the entire world, in fact the whole universe. You must now," so he's giving the script, the coming attractions, that what's going to happen next. "You must now console despondent Bharata," because Bharata's back in Ayodhya waiting till the end of those 14 years. He's going to give up his life if Ram doesn't come back at the end of 14 years. He's taken this very severe vow. So console Bharata and the illustrious Kaushalya and see Kaikeyi and Lakshman's mother Sumitra. Notice who he doesn't mention. The third mother. "You must assume the kingship of Ayodhya and reward all your allies. Then, mighty hero, you must establish the continuation of the exalted lineage of Ikshvaku. At last, once you have offered the horse sacrifice and attained unsurpassing glory, you should give away your wealth to the Brahmanas and ascend to Swargaloka." Now, Ramayana uses the language ascend to Swargaloka, and our Vaishnava understanding from Srimad Bhagavatam is he returned to the eternal abode Ayodhya, not to Swarga. That's okay. That's the perspective or the way of narrating of Valmiki in Ramayana. "And here, in his flying chariot, is your father, Dasarath, who, in the world of men, was your illustrious elder. Saved by you, his son, the majestic king has attained the world of Indra." Again, heaven. That's the perspective. Now, we know from Padma Purana and Bhagavad Purana, etc., that there's an eternal planet in Haridam, in Vaikuntha realm, that's Ayodhya, and that's the eternal residence of Ramachandra and Dasarath, etc. So Shiva is advising or instructing, "Together with Lakshmana, you must now respectfully salute him," right from Valmiki Ramayana. And then, similarly, from Yuddha Kanda, Valmiki Ramayana, Ramachandra returned, heading back for Ayodhya, riding on this Pushpaka Vimana that belonged to Varuna, but the stepbrother of Varuna beat him up, Ravana, and took the Pushpaka Vimana and made it his. And when Ramachandra defeated Ravana, he then took use of the Pushpaka Vimana and traveled swiftly back to Ayodhya. Because at the end of 14 years, he knew Bharata would keep his vow, he would give up his life, entering into fire, and he didn't want that. So he stopped on the way at Setu Banda. Maybe some of you are from South India or have visited that place. It's a very nice place. It's a sacred place. And Ramachandra stopped there. So that's when we had our South India yatra, we also visited. It's a nice place. And from Uttarakhand, Ramachandra spoke with Lord Shiva. See this island located in the middle of the ocean where my troops were stationed. At this place, Lord Shiva formerly bestowed his grace on me. Lord Shiva formerly bestowed his grace upon me. And another version of Ramayana is Ramacharita of Tulsidas, where he describes it a little bit differently. That's quite okay, because there are different days of Brahma, and so there are different narrations, so it's quite okay. The title of his book is not Ramayana. The title of the book is Ramacharita Manas. And in the beginning, the narration says that Lord Shiva speaks Ramacharita Manas to Parvati. And the knowledge of Ramayana, or Ram's pastimes, was stored in his mind, thus Ramacharita Manas. And in that Ramacharita Manas, one of the things that Lord Shiva does is he describes 5 different reasons why Ramachandra appeared during different days of Brahma. So each day of Brahma, Krishna appears, and each day of Brahma, Ramachandra appears, and there are different features. It's the same personality of Godhead, but slightly different details in his appearance and activities. And here, in Ramacharitamanus at least, Lord Shiva is giving 5 different reasons for his appearance during different days of Brahma. There's another version of Valmiki Ramayana, different translation of the same section. Here it's showing there's Sita with Ramachandra and Lakshman and of course Hanuman. This is on their return. It's not on the journey out, it's on the return back. There, on the far shore, is the place called Setubandha or Rameshwaram, where Lord Shiva appeared to me, and the bridge construction began. So, in Valmiki Ramayana, there was this exchange before the journey to Lanka, and there was an exchange with Lord Shiva upon the return from Lanka. Remember our topic, I'm just trying to do some service to all of you. There's many scriptural references. I'm covering some of them. One of them is covered by Madhvacharya. Many of you know who is Madhvacharya. He's the preceptor in our sampradaya. From Brahma to Madhva to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us. So Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Madhvacharya lived a long time ago in Udupi and other places. He traveled extensively throughout India. And 2 celebrated writings, amongst many. One was a commentary on Mahabharata. The name is identified here. And a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam that has a similar name. Tatparya Nirnaya. So in Mahabharata, Tatparya Nirnaya, because Mahabharata was written after Ramachandra's appearance. That is to say, in Ramayana itself, there are sections of Ramayana that describe activities during Ramachandra's pastimes, because it happened after. So it's included in Ramayana, in Mahabharata. So in one of those sections, there's a summary of the Ramayana storyline. And in that section, Madhvacharya gives 3 reasons why, when Ramachandra returned back to Rameshwara, why he offered prayers to Lord Shiva, because it's a role reversal. There's the Supreme Lord offering prayers to his own devotee. So some persons may be puzzled. Some persons say something other than puzzled. But here's Madhvacharya's explanation. 3 reasons. It's not literal translation, it's a summary. Lord Rama did not pray to Lord Shiva to get rid of any dosha or fault, because some people say he had killed Ravana, and Ravana was born of a Brahmana, Vishravas, and so by birth Ravana was a Brahmana, and he killed the Brahmana. But he wasn't behaving like a Brahmana by any means. He was behaving not even like a Kshatriya, he was like behaving like a Rakshasa. So he was killed. But some people say, and Madhvacharya refutes this idea, he worshipped Lord Shiva to get free from the dosha, the sin, or the fault of having killed a son of a Brahmana. Rather, he did it to rid Lord Shiva of Brahma Hatya. What's Brahma Hatya? We'll see shortly where this reference is, Matsya Purana, etc. Lord Shiva cut off the 5th head of Brahma. Did you know that Brahma had 5 heads? It's not in our Bhagavat Purana or the Padma Purana, but it's in Matsya Purana that Lord Shiva cut off one of the 5 heads of Brahma, leaving 4. And ours is Chaturmukha Brahma, 4-headed Brahma. Madhvacharya was very learned, so he knew multiple histories from multiple Puranas, and he mentions this as one of the reasons why Lord Ramachandra worshipped Lord Shiva, to free him from the sin of cutting off one of the heads of Brahma. The very darshan or sight of Ram Setu rids one of the highest sin. Ram wanted Shiva to always have such a sight of Ram Setu or bridge, so he installed him at Rameshwaram. Clear? Here's the reference from Madhvacharya's commentary, Mahabharata commentary. This is the history in Matsya Purana, gives the verses, where Matsya himself is narrating to Vaivasvata Manu, and its similar pastime is described in Skanda Purana, and gives the reference. So if you're interested, you can look it up. But that's one of the 3 reasons given in Madhvacharya's commentary on Mahabharata, why Ramachandra installed a Shivalinga when he returned back to the mainland. Second reason, Lord Rama prayed to Lord Shiva to deceive evil persons and make them believe that Shiva is greater than Hari. Since Rama had worshipped him, many fall prey to this error. This is Madhvacharya's commentary. And here's his third reason. Lord Rama, most important one, wanted to teach the common folk to worship all the deities, especially Rudra, as he is Mano Niyamaka. Mano Niyamaka. He had control of his mind. Thus, if we want knowledge, bhakti, and vairagya, we need to respect Lord Shiva. Or conversely, we must not disrespect him. And to respect him, one of the things we may do is offer him respect. Okay? And this is a nice photograph of the place where Lord Ramachandra worshipped Lord Shiva for the reasons mentioned. When they returned back to Ayodhya, this is a very beautiful painting, the coronation of Ram under the order of Lord Shiva that he should accept the rule of Ayodhya when he returns. And notice in the sky there's various devas and celestials and kinnaras and gandharvas, etc. So Lord Shiva is also offering his respect. And notice on the right side the three queens. Very nice painting. Very beautiful painting. Again, Ramacharita, many devotees, I've not read it, but many devotees, it's what they grew up with it. It's like it's in their blood as much as Bhagavad Gita is. According to Ramacharita, when this coronation took place, Lord Shiva sought blessings explicitly from Lord Ramachandra to have firm devotion at his feet. In Padma Purana there's something similar but different. Shiva offers prayers at Ram's coronation, and here's an English translation of his prayer, or one of his prayers. O Rama, we too, that's Lord Shiva and his consort Gauri or Parvati or Uma, we too are venerable to the world. You too, Sita and Ram, are always venerable to us. Gauri mutters your name, I mutter your mantra. To one desiring to die at Manikarnika, I'm going to show you a photograph of where that place is. Manikarnika, those who desire to die there, and remaining in half of its water, because it's a place in Kashi where persons may want to give up their body or perform funeral rites for some departed soul. I give your emancipating mantra leading to Bhagavan. So Lord Shiva is saying this in prayers to Lord Ramachandra. And here's a photograph of the place, or it's a painting during the British period, more precisely. It's a ghat, where it's a burning ghat for bodies, and prayers for departed souls are offered. And it's said that Lord Shiva is chanting the names of Lord Ram to all those who die at this place. Another reference, the heading for those of you that just came in, is interactions between Lord Shiva and Lord Ramachandra. In Padma Purana, there's a celebrated stotra. Many of you know this celebrated stotra. Rama 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 Rameti Rame Rame Mano Rame. You know this one? Sahasranama tu Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane. Translation. It's one of many prayers that was revealed to Kaushika the sage by Lord Shiva in a dream. And this is the ending verse. Speaking to Parvati, O Varanana, or Durga, I chant the holy name of Rama, 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 and thus enjoy this beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1,000 holy names of Lord Vishnu. Many of you know of the verse, many of you know the verse. It's a celebrated verse. It's Lord Shiva honoring Lord Ramachandra. In that same chapter, 33 of Padma Purana, there's a description of Lord Ramachandra's visiting the hermitage of Markandeya. There's a temple where this visit took place. On the left is a painting indicating Markandeya Rishi. When Lord Rama was in Chitrakoot, and this isn't Valmiki Ramayana, this is Padma Purana, Lord Rama expressed his anguish due to separation from his father, Dasarath. Atri Muni suggested Lord Rama to go to Pushkar and perform the rites for his father. Lord Rama did so. However, after the rites, Lakshmana began to behave differently and refused to serve Lord Ram and Mother Sita. Lord Ram understood that Lakshmana was exhibiting this nature of this kshetra which makes a person behave selfishly. Seeking restoration of Lakshmana's true nature, Lord Rama prayed to Lord Shiva at a temple in Pushkar. Padma Purana. Now Padma Purana is a Sattvika Purana, it's a Vaishnava Purana. But Lord Ramachandra is here praying to Lord Shiva to restore Lakshman to his proper senses. Interesting. Again, same chapter. Lord Shiva replied, "You are the Supreme Lord who has appeared in a human form which the world adores. With you as their Lord, the Devatas will enjoy happiness for a long time. Those men on earth who will see you having returned to Ayodhya after 14 years have elapsed will be happy here in this world and will also have an unending residence in the eternal realm, Vaikuntha." Padma Purana and Bhagavad Purana indicate the destination of Lord Ramachandra and his father and his associates is Vaikuntha. Ramayana speaks their destination as being heaven or the abode of Indra, etc. Go back to the city of Ayodhya after having done a great mission for the Devas. So this is Lord Shiva speaking to Ramachandra at the hermitage of Markandeya. Another celebrated interaction, as you all know, is the bow of Lord Shiva, which Lord Ram, when he was just 16, he broke the bow. He not only strung the bow, but he broke the bow. And in this way, he gained the marriage or the hand of Sita. And there's a long history, which time doesn't permit, but there was a point in time when Vishvakarma made similar bow, or not identical, but similar bow, one for Vishnu and one for Lord Shiva. And Lord Ram broke Lord Shiva's bow. Having protected the Devas from an attack by the demons, Shiva was extensively worshipped by the Devas. Shiva then gave them his special bow, the one that had been given to him by Vishvakarma, after the destruction of Dakya's sacrifice. It's a long story, 4th Canto Bhagavatam. Then the eldest son of these Devas was King Nimi. King Nimi's eldest son was Devarata. Shiva's bow was entrusted into Devarata's hands by the Devas, and then over generation to Janaka. That's how the bow got to Janaka's care. And this is one of many paintings showing Ramachandra breaking the bow of Lord Shiva. Now fast forward the concluding pastimes of Lord Ramachandra on earth. It describes Lord Shiva's role. And this is again from Madhvacharya's commentary from Mahabharata. When Lord Rama ruled the earth, it attained the exalted status of Satyaloka. The Devatas wanted a distinct place for their own loka and for Lord Ram to come to their loka. So they requested Lord Brahma for themselves to get the fortune received by the denizens of earth, because Ramachandra appeared on earth and Brahma wanted him to come to his abode in Satyaloka. And sent Lord Shiva as a messenger to Lord Ram. Lord Shiva conveyed the message of all the devas in secrecy to Lord Ram. He said, Lord Brahma is your son, and I'm your grandson. The meritorious accede to the appeal of their grandchildren more than their own children. He's one-upping Lord Brahma. Hence, I humbly beg for you to return to your abode. Lord Ram agreed to this. When Lord Ram, along with his associates, left this world, he stayed in the realm of the Devatas in one form. In his second form, he resided in Satyaloka, worshipped by Lord Brahma, and in his third form, he resided in his own resort in Vaikuntha. So he manifested himself in 3 different forms to satisfy the requests of Brahma, etc. And one more, and then we're going to move on. This is a very nice book. Murari Gupta was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, but Murari Gupta was also a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, simultaneous. So he writes this in his book. Sri Ramachandra, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, showed his universal form to Shiva, and thereafter he performed human-like activities. Now, I don't know of any other place that indicates that Ramachandra showed his universal form, but here's one. We certainly have that in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna, and many others also saw it. So we're almost done, and one more personality, supreme personality, that Lord Shiva interacted with was Lord Sankarshan. So who's Lord Sankarshan? Lord Sankarshan is one of the 4 manifestations of the Supreme Lord Krishna in Goloka, and Supreme Lord's manifestation in Vaikuntha at the 2nd Chaturvyuha. Chatur means 4. So here's Jiva Goswami writing in Paramatma Sandarbha. That Sankarshan, shown in the picture above Lord Shiva, he's meditating on Sankarshan. That Sankarshan and the Purusha, who's the Purusha? Purusha means Vishnu forms. Are the origin of Shiva is confirmed in the scripture. He gives the scriptural reference. Shiva worships Sankarshan, his source. So there's confirmation from Jiva Goswami and confirmed in scripture that Lord Shiva is a manifestation of Sankarshan. Now, if I had 6 hours and 3 classes, I would give you more details. In short, we discussed this on Friday. Shiva Tattva is very complex. And if you're not so sure about that, listen to the recording of the Friday evening class and you'll be convinced. And I didn't go into the detail, I just read one purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 6, verse number 76. Adi 6, 76. And it's just a paragraph indicating complexity. Say it again. Shiva Tattva is very complex. So he, Lord Shiva, for example, in the Bhagavatam we know Lord Shiva appeared from the brow of Lord Brahma, right? Well, where did he come from before the brow of Lord Brahma? Sankarshan. here's an illustration of a little small piece of Vedic cosmology. In Vedic cosmology, it speaks of Bhu Mandala. What's Bhu Mandala? It's the earthly plane. And in this earthly plane, there's a central island. And the depiction of that central island is in the diagram. The very, very tall mountain is Sumeru. Notice, it's flat on the top, and it's wider on the top than in the bottom. Have you ever seen a mountain that looks like that? No way. But it's part of the picture of Vedic cosmology. And that Mount Sumeru is resting upon one of the varshas of Bhumandala. And that central varsha, as you see at the bottom, is the Elavrita varsha. You see the drawing in the oranges colored picture? Sumeru is in the golden, this is a vertical two-dimensional depiction. Sumeru is in the middle, and it's in the middle of one of the varshas. And that varsha is Elavrita varsha, according to 5th canto Bhagavatam. In Elavrita varsha, Shiva, Lord Shiva, is always encircled by 10 billion maid servants of goddess Durga. That's a lot of maidservants, who minister to him. The quadruple expansion mentions what Sankarshan is one. The quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord is composed of Vasudeva, Pradumna, Aruna, and Sankarshan. Sankarshan, the fourth expansion, is certainly transcendental, but because his activities of destruction in the material world are in the mode of ignorance, he is known as Tamasi, the Lord's form in the mode of ignorance. Lord Shiva knows that Sankarshana is the original cause of his own existence, and thus he always meditates upon him in trance. So in this painting, you look at the bottom of this tree, and there you see, the billions of expansions of Durga. Seated next to him is Durga, or Uma, or Parvati, by different names. And then she has expansions. According to the 5th canto Bhagavatam, billions of expansions, maid servants of Durga, and they assist Durga in service to Lord Shiva and Elavrita varsha. In case you go visit Elavrita varsha, send me a postcard or a text message and tell me what it was like when you visit there. But if you read the Bhagavatam, you can find out even without going there. In the 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a description between Lord Shiva and the 10 Prajetas. This is one painting. Lord Shiva, gives verses and verses and verses glorifying Sankarshan, the Lord of his life, the person from whom he came, and he says many interesting things about Sankarshan, his Lord. And who are the Prachetas? They're sons of King Prachinibhari. King Prachinibhari was requested to assist Lord Brahma to populate the universe. So they became Prajapatis, but rather than just going get married and making offspring, they decided to enter into this lake and perform austerities underwater for 10,000 years. Try it. As they were about to enter the lake, lo and behold, Lord Shiva, look at this, he just descended from the sky. And look at them, they're like, wow, this is Lord Shiva. And so they offered their prayers to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then offered them various prayers, and here's one of them. Shiva's worshipable Lord is Sankarshan. This is commentary from that section. The predominating deity and master of all integration and disintegration, as well as the origin of all material ingredients. That's a little summary of from a purport of this long section, song sung by Lord Shiva, to Sankarshan, where if you're interested to learn more details, you can go to that section, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Lord Shiva and his relationship with Sankarshan. And this is our last slide. This is the descent of the Ganges to protect the earth. Lord Shiva was requested to capture the Ganges or catch the Ganges in his hair. So he agreed. The descent of the Ganges is one of his services in relation to Lord Sankarshan, because he's empowered by Lord Sankarshan to do what he does. Here's one more slide. Someday, if you have not yet been to Mayapur, most likely many of the devotees in the room, if not all the devotees in the room, one day will visit the holy dham of Sridham Mayapur. And one of the places, if you visit Mayapur, you'll likely visit is this. This is a place where there's a temple of Hari and Hara. Hari is Vishnu, and Hara is a name of Lord Shiva. We discussed this on Friday. There's Hara, that's a name of the internal potency of Krishna, like when we say the Hare Krishna mantra. We're calling, O energy of Krishna. One of the names of the energy of Krishna is Hara. In the evocative it becomes Hare, Hare Krishna. So Hara is the internal potency, and Hara, without the long A at the end, Hara is Lord Shiva. So this is a deity in Mayapur. Is a long description which I'm not going to go into, but it's a deity, a combination of Hari and Hara. So it's called Hari Hara Kshetra, and the scriptural reference for it is found in this section of Padma Purana, where there's a discussion between Lord Shiva and Maharaj Yayati. Well, here's the quick passage. Here's the Sanskrit. O Lord of Kings. So this is Lord Shiva speaking to Maharaj Yayati. Have no doubt there's certainly no difference between Vishnu and myself, which is memorialized in the deity of Hari Hara Kshetra, or the deity of Hari Hara. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the form of Rudra and Rudra is the form of Vishnu. You should know, O king, that Rudra is always the same as Vishnu. Now, there's sameness and there's difference. So one can emphasize the sameness, one can emphasize the difference. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized the simultaneous sameness and difference, but this deity is emphasizing the sameness. You can see this is, the deity has been resculpted. This is an older version of the same deity, and this is the newer version of the same deity, but the same instruments in his hand, with the weapon of Lord Vishnu on his right hand and the weapon of Lord Shiva in his left hand. So that's it for this evening discussion on our topic, which is the interactions between Lord Shiva and Lord Ramachandra, Lord Shiva and Sankarshan. And it's complex. So let's see if there's some discussion. Anyone would like to raise a question or hear some description of something in relation to Lord Shiva? Yes. You have a good voice, right? Go ahead, speak. There are various manifestations of Lord Shiva, yes.
Other categories within that, like within this world,
Yes.
and then beyond this
Yes.
universe and things like that?
Yes. But if I start to go down the list, we'll be here for a while. But the short answer is yes. Another time, when there's more time, we can go into, I'll be happy to go into the various, I mean, the residences and the manifestations of Lord Shiva range from the very bottom of the universe, where the Rudra expansions are waiting for indication to help destroy the universe. Fire from the mouth of Anantashesh will come. They start dancing. That expands the fire. The whole universe becomes engulfed in flames. That's one of the services of Rudras, the 11 Rudras. Their location is at the bottom. But they're expansions of, they're not the original Lord Shiva. And you go up and up and up and up and up and up, and there's like 8 different abodes of Lord Shiva and with different functions. And the topmost is Sada Shiva, that has his place in the Vaikuntha realm. Complicated tattva. But in all cases, his mood is service. He's simply serving the source of everything. He's from the source of everything, and he understands his position is to serve the source of everything. And he has multiple capacities to do that. Therefore, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. He's a very great Vaishnava, and he's to be respected. Not to be equated in all sense, but to not be disrespected either, because of his exaltedness and his position in relation to Vishnu. Many things to say. Yes. Pass the microphone.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you mentioned about Lakshman losing his mood of service and Lord Ram praying to Lord Shiva. Could you
It's an
elaborate?
unusual story. It's not a commonplace story that we hear regularly. But it's mentioned, so I mentioned it. You want to hear more about it?
I mean, would you know more like...
Not much.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there are topics that if I spent half an hour to an hour doing research in Scripture, I could find out more details and more details. But I haven't done that one yet. And I could do that for you if you want, or you can do it for me, and if whatever you find, you can let me know.
Sure.
But it's the principle is there's a particular place that has not like a hex, but it has a certain characteristic of that realm, and one acts contrary to one's nature in that realm. And it was understood what's going on here. So the hex was removed by prayer to Lord Shiva, and he took that difficulty away. But if you want to research it and let me know what it says.
That's all right, Maharaj.
Okay.
That's satisfactory. Thank you.
Yes. Up front over here. Pass the microphone up front, please.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. We Vaishnavas even respect the lowest of the lowest living entities. So where is this question of disrespecting a personality like Lord Shiva comes from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah, why this word disrespect?
Upadi. Upadi. You know, I'm this, and I'm not that.
lack of maturity.
Yeah, I mean, because you're asking, this is a reference made by Jiva Goswami in his Sandarbhas, specifically Paramatma Sandarbha, where he doesn't, I don't recall which Purana it's from, but he narrates a history where one Vaishnava Brahmana named Vishvaksena was visiting, traveling here and there as a mendicant Brahmana, and he visited a kingdom where a king approached him and said, "My dear Brahmana, I have a Shivalinga in my kingdom that has not been worshipped. Could you worship him on my behalf?" And Vishvaksena, Vaishnava Brahmana, said, "I am a Vaishnava and I only worship Vishnu, so I am going to decline. Thank you." His son was a fanatic. His son immediately grabbed his sword and was going to cut off Vishvaksena's head. Vishvaksena thought it's wiser that I could worship the deity of Lord Shiva than move my head. So they took him to where the Shivalinga was, and as he was performing the worship, he offered a prayer. "O Lord Nrsimha, please accept my worship." The son of the king heard him, and again he took his sword and had his buddies with him, and they were going to chop him right there. And from the deity of Lord Shiva, a form of Lord Nrsimhadev erupted and burst forth and mangled the little Kshatriya boy and his friends. End of story. So the personality of the commentary by Jiva Goswami in this Paramatma Sandarbha reference is that the Supreme Lord is everywhere, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, and he appears according to the mood of his worshipper. So his worshipper was in the mood of Lord Nrsimhadev. "My dear Lord Nrsimhadev, please accept my worship." And so Lord Nrsimhadev responded to protect his devotee, Vishvaksena. It's not exactly on the line of your question, but it gives a hint of Vishnu he's all pervasive in his Paramatma feature. There is not a place where he is not. He's everywhere. He's all pervasive. And so such a person, a Vaishnava, wants to worship him and wants to give exclusive worship to him, but not disrespecting. So there wasn't disrespect, but he wants to give his worship to Vishnu, so he did.
If we have time, I have a couple of more questions.
I'm okay. It's time to end in 2 minutes. What? You want me to say something about Chaitanya? Okay. Later. Offline. Huh? Okay. Where's that? Can I have the audio viewer? The front one, yes. Some of you know, not only yesterday was Shivaratri, but coming up shortly is the Purnima from the month of Phalgun. And on that Purnima night, Lord Chaitanya appeared. And the biography of Lord Chaitanya is very exalted literature written by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Who's Krishnadas Kaviraj? Long story short, he was a Kavi. He was a learned person, and he learned all about Lord Chaitanya from one who lived with Lord Chaitanya for some 16 years in Puri. And the person who lived with him was Raghunath Das Goswami, who was under the care of Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar was an intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya that knew everything inside and outside. So he knew his pastimes and he knew his mood. Everything. Because many devotees were, I'm motioning with my right arm, they were up in Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya was down there in Puri. So they were serving in separation. And they were eager, enthusiastic like anything to hear about Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes and his mood of love and his ecstasies and everything, in detail, in detail, in detail. And the person that knew it, he didn't have a tape recorder, he just had a perfect memory and a perfect teacher. And his name was Raghunath Das. So when Raghunath Das went to Vrindavan, after Lord Chaitanya's departure, he was petitioned, he was instructed by the superior Vaishnavas to spend 3 to 4 hours every day, 3 to 4 hours every day, just speaking about Lord Chaitanya and his teachings and his pastimes. And in that audience was this Kavi, this learned person. Kavi means poet or very learned. And his name was Krishnadas. And towards the end of Krishnadas's life, the Vaishnavas said, please, please, write all this down because generations later won't know what you know. Nor are they Kavis like you. Please, please. So, seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and getting the blessings of Madan Mohan, the deity of Sanatan Goswami in Vrindavan, he began writing at a very old age, something like in his 90s. And his hand was shaking, but he completed it. And then generations passed, and commentaries were made by different acharyas, and very kindly Srila Prabhupada made. We call this the postgraduate study of bhakti. There's the undergraduate, there's the graduate, and there's the postgraduate. Bhagavad Gita, undergraduate, ABC. Graduate, Srimad Bhagavatam. Same thing that you learn in undergraduate, you know in graduate, but you just know much more about the undergraduate topic in graduate school. And then there's the postgraduate. It's very wonderful literature. And it's been translated into all the languages that there are BBTs. I was just told they finally, I guess I can say it in a public forum, the China BBT got an ISBN to print Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was an ordeal because the Chinese government doesn't want. But somehow they gave an ISBN and it's been printed and the devotees are starting to read it in Chinese. I mean, that's big. You know, for those of us sitting here in Texas, we don't know how big that is, but that's big. And I just had a conversation, or an exchange with someone that's just started reading it in Chinese, and they can't stop. And they've got to, anyway. It's very special literature. It's very heart-moving. It's high, but the highness is not so much its greatness. It's so pure and transparent. It's the full mercy